This might actually be the most complimented fragrance in my entire collection. But here's the strange thing. I personally don't find it that mass appealing when I smell it on myself. Today we are talking about Bois Impérial from Essential Parfums. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about Bois Impérial, a fragrance released in 2020 and created by the perfumer Quentin Bisch. Now, if you've been in the fragrance world for a while, you probably know that name. Quentin Bisch is one of the most prolific modern perfumers. Today he's working at Givaudan and his portfolio is honestly insane. He created fragrances for niche houses like Parfums de Marly, Amouage, Etat Libre d'Orange, Marc-Antoine Barrois, Essential Parfums, Maison Crivelli and many more. But he's also worked with big designers brands like Jean-Paul Gaultier, Kenzo, Gucci, Carolina Herrera, Miyake, Azzaro, and even some clone houses like La Taffa. So we're talking about someone with over 200 fragrances across more than 70 fragrance houses according to Fragrantica. And if you ask me, that's pretty damn impressive. Now, coming back to Bois Impérial, this fragrance might actually be the biggest compliment getter in my collection right now. And I'm not talking about the occasional "you smell nice." I mean, people actually start conversations with me after smelling this scent. I've had multiple situations where people asked me what I was wearing, and after showing them the Google search on my phone, they even took pictures of it so they could look it up later. And trust me, that almost never happens to me with other fragrances. When I smell it on myself, I don't always find it extremely mass appealing or even just mass appealing. Sometimes it feels a bit harsh and dry in the opening. So it's funny how other people seem to love it way much more than I do. Now, the opening of the scent is very green and sharp. The first thing you notice after you spray the scent is this basil, peppery basil note. It almost smells like crushed green leaves, very fresh but also slightly piercing, especially in the beginning. There is also a small touch of citrus, a grapefruit note that gives the fragrance a little citrus sparkle. Not a lot, just enough to brighten the opening. And right from the start you can tell the materials smell high quality. So very good scent right here. The overall character of the fragrance is very classy and gentlemanlike. It's that type of the scent that you could easily wear every day. In my opinion, is definitely a signature scent worthy. The scent feels woody, airy, mineralic with a slightly metallic touch. And overall, it's much more drier than sweeter, which gives it a very clean and elegant feeling. One funny thing is that this is actually one of my girlfriend's favorite scents on me. She once told me,
"This fragrance fits you the best. Every time I smell it, it reminds me of you."
And honestly, that's probably the best compliment you can get, or I can get. Now, if you're familiar with Quentin Bisch's work, this fragrance might remind you of Ganymede from Marc-Antoine Barrois. Both fragrances share that metallic, hairy DNA, but they still go in a slightly different directions. Ganymede feels more like a cold, mineralic, floral suede leather, while Bois Impérial is more green and woody. The big advantage of Bois Impérial is that it's much more easier to wear in the warm weather. It feels lighter and more versatile than Ganymede. Now, if you're not familiar with fragrances created by Quentin Bisch, this might open a new chapter in your fragrance journey. You might start liking mineralic, futuristic, sophisticated scents, or maybe not. After about 20-30 minutes, the fragrance starts to change. You get into the mid phase, the woods soften a bit, and you begin to notice some green, vetiver nuances. At this stage, the fragrance becomes much smoother, it keeps that classy vibe, but at the same time it feels modern and slightly futuristic. It's one of those scents that makes you want to keep smelling your wrist during the day. There is also a subtle smoky and a diffusive effect that also helps the fragrance projects nicely, and this is what keeps drawing people around you. Now, in the dry down, the scent becomes slightly ambery and musky, but don't think that here you have that ambery sweetness. This is more like a dry green amber, probably coming from a patchouli or cedar combined with the musk and mineralic notes. At this stage, the fragrance smells very clean and soft. It actually reminds me a little bit of freshly ironed clothes or clean linen. Very comfortable and very easy to wear. Performance is very solid. On my skin I get easy 9 to 10 hours. Sometimes I can even smell it after a shower. Projection is very strong in the first 2 hours, and after that it stays closer to your personal space, but it never really becomes a skin scent. The sillage is airy and diffusive, which makes the fragrance feels very natural in the air compared to how it feels when you smell it up close on your skin. Versatility, this is also a very versatile fragrance. You can wear it to the office, casual, dressed up, dressed down, in the summer, in winter. Honestly, it works almost all year round. Price, another thing I like about this fragrance is the price. For a niche fragrance, it's actually quite affordable. It's around $110 for 100 milliliters, and Essential Parfums also offers refill bottles for around $110 for 150 milliliters. So the refill bottle will provide you more at a lower price, which I think it's a very good deal. Now, final thoughts. Overall, Bois Impérial is a green, woody, mineralic, airy, sophisticated scent with some metallic facets. It smells modern, it has this classy feeling, it clearly pulls a lot of compliments, at least for me. Even sometimes the opening feels a little sharp to my nose. People around me seems to absolutely love it. And that's probably a big important factor if you consider compliments before buying a fragrance. And that's it for today's review. Let me know in the comments if you tried Bois Impérial, and also tell me if you tried Ganymede and if you do prefer Bois Impérial or Ganymede. I enjoy more Ganymede, but I think both are suited for different occasions and they are not redundant in a collection. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other fragrance reviews. They're pretty good, and as always, take care.